beautiful friends. It's Vic with Vibrant with Vic, and I'm really excited to be here today to share your yoga practice with you. So, I've talked in the past about doing it in a chair at your desk, and I've done it on the ground, the yoga poses, and given you options to do in a chair. But today I'm going to be doing it in a chair. So, you can either do it in the chair or on the ground. I just wanted you to actually see what it looked like. And I'm in a really small space here, so you can see how you can do it in a very small space if you have a cube somewhere where you can carve out just a little wiggle room for you to get moving, okay? So just a couple things. Shout out to Virtual Veg Fest Live. Make sure you go to their website to check out their great stuff and their monthly contest. Please give a shout out too, also to Rebel Cheese. Check them out. And check out my website, vibrantwithvic.com, if you want to attend any of my classes. I offer classes a few times a week, group classes. I also offer private, individual classes. So I would love to see you and hear from you. And I really hope you enjoy this yoga practice today. Remember, at Vibrant with Vic, what I like to do is I like to combine yogic principles with psychological principles to tend to all parts of us, okay? So we have the physical body, we have the mental body, and we have that emotional body. So tending to all parts is really important. We tend to focus on the physical body and the mental body a lot. So let's start with those. Physical body. Today, as every day, just a reminder, everything I do is merely a suggestion. So please listen to your body today and find out what it needs. Today is going to be different than yesterday, and it might be different than tomorrow. Okay? Your left side and your right side also different and different than mine. So tuning in, going inward, and really listening to what your body needs today. Okay? Also, the mental body. We know in psychology, we have thousands upon thousands of thoughts every single day, and a lot of them don't serve us because they're just on repeat. They might be things that we are replaying that other people told us maybe early in life about how we need to be doing more or working harder. So recognizing those thoughts as they arise by practicing mindfulness can be really helpful when we move outside of the yoga class to live a more vibrant life. So we're going to be paying attention to our thoughts mindfully. And remember, mindfulness is paying attention on purpose to the present moment with non-judgmental awareness. A lot of those thoughts are judgments, usually about ourselves, right? So we want to tune into that and recognize those and just ask them to gently move on. Notice them like clouds in the sky on a breezy day, just moving along and coming back to your anchor, your center, your breath. Okay, and lastly, the emotional body, that heart center. Sometimes when you're doing movement, when you're practicing, or even as you go out throughout your day, emotions might surprisingly arise. So just letting those emotions, if it's an appropriate space, move up and out, not wanting to suppress them. If it's not an appropriate space and we have to suppress them in the moment so we don't hurt others, then thinking about where we can find a safe space in order to allow ourselves to feel those emotions. So hopefully right now you're in a little bit of a safe space to be able to be that as we move through class today. Okay, so let's get started. I will scoot back a little bit here. And when we start here seated in our chair or on the ground, if you want to be on your mat, that's great too. If you want to put something behind your back, like a pillow or a blanket, or just move close to the back of the chair or a wall to help really support you as we tune inward for the first part of this practice. So while we're not always doing yoga poses in the practice, the breath work is really important, as is tending the mind, right? So we're going to start with that like we usually do. So coming into a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you, and gently closing your eyes or casting your gaze downward, we're going to notice what's going on in our bodies. Notice your breath and what it's doing. First, just without trying to change it. We often go through our stressful days in fight or flight mode. Our sympathetic nervous system is online and we don't even realize it. One way we can notice if it is, our breaths tend to be more shallow, quicker. So now I invite you to deepen that breath, bringing it further into your body, slowing it down. And let's tune in to those 3 centers of the body that I talked about earlier. We can think about the gut space, the belly, as holding information about our physical body. So our intuition is housed here, grounding, sense of safety. Breathing deeply into that. And as we move up to the heart space, our emotional center, bringing oxygen into that, nourishing that heart space. And lastly, bringing oxygen up into the head space, all the way up into the head, our intellect. We can solve so many problems if those negative stories on repeat could just step out of the way for a little bit. So by practicing mindfulness and noticing where our thoughts tend to go, we can actually help rewire our brain So continuing to breathe deeply, this 3-part breath, noticing the belly rise, the heart space open, and breathe all the way up into the head space. And exhale, head, heart, belly. And continue this deep breathing with the eyes closed or gently cast downward. And this is the week of a full moon, so our quote for the week is, "Let come what comes, let go what goes, and see what remains." Let come what comes, let go what goes, and see what remains. The full moon invites us to release things that no longer serve us. So maybe you can think of something in your life. Doesn't have to be big, or it could be, that you would like to release to help you live a more vibrant life. And continuing these breaths with your eyes closed or cast downward, we're going to do one more technique to help us really presence ourselves in the moment. And you can use this anytime throughout your day when you start to feel stressed and that your mind is racing. Grounding in the presence by tuning into the senses. First, let's bring our attention to our skin. So notice where your skin is touching any surface that's supporting you. Maybe noticing where your clothes are making contact with your skin, or just the temperature of the room around you. Next, bringing your attention to your nose and noticing if there are any fragrances in the air around you. Being this curious observer. And then to your ears, noticing how many distinct sounds you can pick out from your environment today. Maybe these sounds were there and you didn't even notice them until you attended to them right now. And continuing that deep 3-part breath, breathing in from the base of the spine all the way to the crown of the head, and exhaling crown to base. When you're ready, gently opening your eyes and looking around your space, noticing the colors, the objects. Maybe there's something your eyes are drawn to that bring joy to your heart, and you feel that in that emotional center. And if there's nothing in your space that does, can you picture in your mind's eye something that does and notice how that feels in your body? So wherever you are, noticing that you have the power to conjure up feelings inside of you that are joyful and light and vibrant. And giving yourself grace, knowing that some days it's harder to do this than others. And when you're ready, we'll start our movement. So on your chair, now coming to the edge of it, maybe removing anything that you had behind you. And we're going to gently roll the shoulder blades down the back. Shoulders come up towards the ears before sliding down the back. And as we do this, let's think about really grounding into whatever you're sitting on, the floor or the chair, engaging Mula Bandha, those pelvic floor muscles, engaging the core, Uddiyana Bandha, and just moving those shoulders down and back. And then when we slide our hands forward, we can do some seated cat-cows here. So sitting up tall, deep inhale. And on the exhale, arching the back, starting at the base, head is the last to drop, just like when we're on the floor. And as we inhale, we open the belly forward, open up that heart space, glide those shoulder blades down the back, and lift the chin just a little bit, not hyperextending that neck. So going through this cat-cow flow at whatever pace is good for you. Your eyes can be open or closed, whatever allows you to really tune into your body here and what it needs. You're doing great. Notice any tight spaces, maybe bringing the breath or the thoughts about an invitation to release. And next time we come into our cow, where we're sitting up tall, opening up that heart space, gliding those hands behind us. They can grab the back of the chair, they can sit on the floor if that's where you are, grabbing the back of the chair, whatever feels good, the seat or the back. Sitting up really tall here, opening up that heart space, letting those shoulders glide down away from the ears. Long neck, we'll do a deep inhale. And on the exhale, we'll take the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhaling up, exhaling to the other side. So going at your own pace, not straining, finding that balance between effort and ease, working out this neck. Nice job. Smiling if that feels good to you today. And then the next time after you go on the left side, coming back to center. This time we're going to look over to the right. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the left. So moving back and forth here with our neck. And then after you've done the last time to the left, coming back to center, this time we're going to take our chin and lower it towards the armpit on our right side. Coming back to center, lowering on the left side. Just noticing how that feels. Coming back to center. And then right ear to right shoulder, we're just going to roll down one side and then the other. If you want to make these complete circles, just being careful not to hyperextend your neck back. That's not the best on some people's necks. So if you just want to go side to side to work that out a little bit. And then any intuitive movement you want to make to shake that out. Coming back to seated, we'll do some seated twist here. So these poses you can do anytime throughout your day when you're sitting anywhere. So tall spine, we'll take a deep inhale, and our exhale will reach behind us, looking over to the right side. If you want to use your right hand to grab the back of the chair or the base, whatever part of the chair your body wants to make contact with, to allow those shoulders to glide down away from the ears. We'll inhale to center and exhale to the other side. So going into a twist at your own pace, noticing where you're feeling this, maybe in the spine or the hips. Maybe you want to use that front hand to give you a little bit of leverage on your legs instead of grabbing the chair. So just intuitively feel what feels good to you today. And then we'll do one more time to that left side. And then we'll come back to center, really engaging our core here. Strong core, strong legs, and standing up. Great job. Okay, so from here, we're going to just do a couple standing poses. So standing up in that really tall mountain, grounding into our feet, making sure our alignment is good, our hips are stacked over, our knees are stacked over our ankles. We have our shoulders gliding down the back, crown of the head towards the sky. Really engage in this really strong mountain, just for a few breaths. Think about all the energy coming up from the ground, engaging Mula Bandha, engaging that core, opening up that proud chest, maybe taking the hands open to the front to help facilitate those shoulder blades gliding down the back, crown of the head towards the sky. And then we'll do a couple half sun salutations and hang in ragdoll for a bit on the first one. So if you don't have enough room to open up to the sides, like I don't, you can open up to the front. Inhaling, exhaling, forward fold. Then we'll hang here for a bit. So maybe we want to interlace our elbows with our hands. So we can just hang, maybe bending one knee and then the other, swaying from side to side. Just letting that low back release and relax here. Noticing what's happening with the hips, the legs, the back, the neck, maybe shaking the neck a little bit here as well. And then when you're ready, dropping those hands, we'll inhale to a flat back in our halfway lift, hands making contact somewhere, just not on the knee joints. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, bending the knees as much as you need, slight back bend, engaging those glutes, and hands to heart center. Let's do that again. Inhaling up, exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice job. Let's shake that out. We'll do a little bit of our willow tree here before we sit back down. So feet spread a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. We're just going to rotate that torso around, gently tapping our body with our hands, breathing here. You all look great. Notice where the mind tends to want to go. If it's drifted away, gently invite it back to the present without judgment. Welcome it inside the body to see what areas need a bit more breath to help them release and let go. And then, as if the breeze died down on a windy day, slowly and mindfully coming out of that pose, shaking it out, making any intuitive movements you would like here before we come back to sit for just a couple more poses and some relaxation, which is the most important part. So grabbing your chair, still seated on the front edge for just a couple more minutes, we're going to ground our feet into the floor, really engaging that core, shoulders down away from the ears. Think about that chin. We often go through life really forward. Think about tucking the chin a little bit to get the long spine and crown of the head towards the sky. Take a deep inhale here. And on the exhale, bring that right knee up and cross it over the left. Flexing that right foot, really flat here. Knee that's raised is invited to come more towards the earth. You just do not want to press on the kneecap. So pressing, if you want a little bit more stretch, a little higher on the leg. Sitting up nice and tall here. Breathing. And for our last few breaths, maybe you want to move that ankle in one direction and then the other to loosen that up. Maybe point and flex. Nice job. Uncrossing that, shaking that out. You can also be doing this on the floor, remember. Another deep inhale, sitting up nice and tall. And on the exhale, bringing that left leg in, crossing it over here, gently inviting that knee a little bit more towards the ground, not pressing on the knee joint. Flexing that foot for a few breaths, sitting up nice and tall. And then if you want to incorporate some movement in your foot, maybe rolling the ankle one way and then the other. Maybe pointing and flexing the foot. And remembering to breathe. You all are doing awesome. Nice work. Great job. Okay, so let's shake that out. And then doing any intuitive movement you want to do. If there's something that you want to do a little bit more of that we were doing before, like neck stretches, or any movement you want to make. And just a few breaths in whatever movement feels good. And then we're going to prepare for our final relaxation, which is where our body integrates the things that we did today. So now we're going to sit back in the chair. If we're sitting on the floor, up against a wall might help support us, or laying flat. Just getting in a really comfortable position where you can relax and release. When you're ready, gently closing your eyes or casting them downward. Coming into your body once more. And then bringing your attention to the top of your head. And we're going to do a progressive relaxation down your entire body. So think of it as a wave releasing stress as we go down the body. Considering that crown and releasing all the stress being stored there. Softening all the muscles of the face and the jaw. Letting that relaxation flow down your neck, releasing those neck muscles, letting those shoulders glide down away from the ears. Any tension melts down the arms, past the wrists, past the hands and fingers, and melts out of the body. And then bringing your attention once more to those shoulders that hold so much stress. And just let them glide down the back as we release one vertebra at a time as we travel down the spine. The rib cage softens and the belly releases and the pelvis relaxes. And any remaining tension melts down the legs, past the ankles and feet and toes, and releases from the body. And then noticing if there's anywhere in your body that's still holding some tension. And maybe inviting it with the breath or your mind just to let go. And if it doesn't want to, just saying, I acknowledge you, I hear you. And continuing these breaths with the eyes closed or cast downward, we're going to sit in our 2 minutes of silent relaxation, just to integrate everything that we've learned. And if your mind tends to drift, which we typically do, just gently invite it back to the present by focusing on the breath or whatever feels good to you. And I'll ring a bell to take you in these last 2 minutes and ring a bell to bring you out to close the practice. No need to rush. Slowly bringing yourself back to this place. You may wish to keep your eyes closed for a few more moments, gently wiggling your fingers and toes, maybe doing a little bit of stretching. And just pausing for a second here to notice anything that you want to take with you that you learned today on the mat, the chair, in our practice. Maybe it's how to tend to the physical body, some movements that you might want to do throughout your day when you're not watching yoga. Maybe it's how to tend to the mental body and noticing your thoughts. Or maybe it's tending to that emotional body, just noticing when feelings arise and accepting them, being with them. It's my wish that you and all beings are happy, healthy, safe, and free. And until we meet again, I wish you so much peace. Thank you so much for sharing your yoga practice with me today. And I look forward to the next time. Please check out the banner below, going to virtualvegfestlive.com, and come see me at Vibrant with Vic. Thanks so much, Vibrant friends. Bye-bye.